Stop for a moment. Just be still. Can you feel it? The immense crushing weight of the world above. Down here, miles beneath the sunlit surface, sound travels differently. It's a realm of profound silence, punctuated only by the hum of our own machinery, and the faint, ghostly whispers of the abyss. Listen. Below the waves, far from any shore, in the crushing absolute dark of the deep ocean, something vast is moving. Our instruments, designed to map the unseen, register a presence so immense it defies their calibration. It's not a geological feature. It's alive, a shadow gliding through the perpetual midnight, a living mountain in a world without light. For centuries, sailors navigating the cold, treacherous waters of the North Atlantic whispered its name with a mix of primal dread and reverent awe. They called it the Kraken. It was a legend born from the greatest of all human fears, the fear of the unknown that lurks just out of sight, beneath the fragile shell of a wooden hull. They spoke of a creature large enough to pull a great sailing ship down into the abyss, its arms like the trunks of ancient trees, its eyes burning with a cold, intelligent fire. The tales described whirlpools that would open without warning, dragging vessels to their doom, and tentacles thick as a ship's mast, covered in suckers the size of dinner plates. It was a monster, a nightmare, given form by the churning sea itself, a physical manifestation of nature's terrifying power. For a long time, that's all it was, a story to scare sailors. But then, strange evidence began to surface. Enormous beaks washed ashore, unlike any known bird. Whales were found bearing colossal circular scars on their skin, evidence of titanic struggles fought in the darkness below. The myth was beginning to take on the weight of reality. But this is not a story about a monster. This is a story about a discovery. The story of the Kraken did not begin with a single cataclysmic event. It grew slowly, organically, like a coral reef taking shape in the deep. It was built from countless small accounts and whispered observations over centuries, a fragment in a ship's log, a terrified tale told in a port tavern, a fisherman's warning. Each retelling added a new layer of detail, a fresh coat of fear, passed from one generation of seafarers to the next. The vast, unexplored ocean was the perfect canvas for such a legend to flourish, a dark mirror reflecting humanity's deepest anxieties about the unknown. The first written mentions come from Nordic tales around the 12th century. In the cold, unforgiving waters of the North Atlantic, where survival was a daily struggle, the sea was already a place of immense power and mystery. Early accounts described a creature so enormous it was mistaken for an island. A weary sailor, desperate for land, might anchor his boat and even build a fire upon its broad, dark back, only to have the island shudder and sink as the great beast dived, pulling the unsuspecting crew down into the abyss. Stories like the old Norwegian text, the speculum regale, painted a living landscape more than a predator. Its sheer size was the terror, a force of nature so immense it could alter the very sea around it. As the age of exploration dawned and ships ventured further into uncharted waters, the imagery turned more dramatic, more violent. Engravings and paintings began to depict masts wrapped in colossal arms. The passive island became an active aggressor. The myth coalesced into a terrifying hybrid, part octopus, part squid, a monster defined by its writhing tentacles and malevolent, intelligent eyes. These sailors were not liars. They were ordinary people confronting the extraordinary, grasping for words and concepts beyond their frame of reference to describe something truly alien. Imagine being on the deck of a wooden ship, miles from land, and seeing a slick, rubbery arm as thick as your own body rise from the depths, covered in suckers the size of teacups. How would you describe a creature that could look back at you with an eye larger than a dinner plate, an eye that seemed to hold a cold, ancient intelligence? You would call it a monster. You would call it the Kraken. For a very long time, the line between myth and natural history was blurry. The Kraken swam among sea serpents and mermaids, then physical evidence began to appear. Huge arms pulled from the sea. People found single, massive tentacles, longer than a man, lying on the sand. The most compelling pieces were the beaks. Inside squid and octopus heads, hard, tearing beaks. In sperm whales' stomachs, astonishingly large beaks, evidence of battles in the abyss. Danish naturalist Japetus Steenstrup described architecture. Duxana nari cries, Anber bugs, Auwerdien she. Ruling squid, from beaks and fragments. A pivotal shift from folklore to zoology, yet the animal remained a ghost. The 20th century passed, and still the giant squid remained elusive. We put a man on the moon, but had no clear photo of the largest invertebrate in its home. The deep is absolute darkness, crushing pressure, freezing cold, a realm more alien than Mars. Searching for one animal in a three-dimensional blackness is almost unimaginable. New tools and new patience, cameras with faint red light, invisible to deep-sea eyes, ingenious lures to coax a phantom from its lair. Follow the whales, follow their prey. Weeks at sea, hours of empty black. Dr. Clyde Roper chased the legend for decades, a beautiful, magnificent, wondrous animal. After centuries of myth and decades of dedicated, often frustrating scientific pursuit, the breakthrough finally came. It arrived not with a roar, but with a silent flash of light from a camera deep beneath the waves. The moment that would change our understanding of the deep ocean was at hand. The culmination of countless hours and unwavering hope. The team focused their efforts off Japan's Ogasawara Islands, a remote volcanic archipelago. Here, deep-sea currents create a unique, nutrient-rich environment, a suspected hunting ground for these elusive predators. A specially designed rig equipped with low-light cameras and a tantalizingly baited lure was carefully lowered into the crushing blackness. It descended nearly 3,000 feet, entering the mesopelagic zone, the twilight world where sunlight barely penetrates. For hours, the screens showed nothing but the slow dance of marine snow. The team watched, waited, and hoped. Then, it happened. A colossal shadow materialized from the gloom. A giant squid attacked the bait with astonishing speed and power, a ghost becoming flesh and blood before their very eyes. It was utterly alien, and breathtakingly beautiful. A torpedo-like mantle propelled it, its skin shimmering with chromatophores. Enormous, intelligent eyes, the largest in the animal kingdom, stared into the lens. 8 powerful arms and 2 coiling feeding tentacles unfurled, their suckers locking onto the rig with immense force. After a prolonged struggle, one tentacle broke off. The crew painstakingly retrieved the 18-foot limb, a staggering piece of evidence that yielded the first-ever DNA from a live-captured giant squid. The ghost had been photographed. It was a monumental turning point, proving the creature was real and could be found. But the ultimate prize was yet to come. In 2012, a new expedition led by Dr. Edith Witter and Tsunemi Kubodera returned to these same waters, this time determined to film the animal in its natural world, undisturbed. They succeeded, capturing several minutes of stunning world-first video. The footage revealed a creature not of rage, but of grace, shining, majestic, and so beautiful. The monster of legend finally became a marvel of nature. Seeing it alive turned parts into a living whole. Architeuthis ducks reaches up to 43 feet, most of it the 2 feeding tentacles, lightning-fast strikes to snatch prey, streamlined bodies, jet propulsion for powerful bursts. The largest eyes in the animal kingdom, up to 11 inches, the size of a dinner plate, built to collect photons, detecting faint bioluminescence of prey and approaching sperm whales, hundreds of swiveling suckers ringed with tiny chitin teeth, specialized clubs for the initial seize, an elegant hunting apparatus. Yet the giant is delicate, soft-bodied, easily damaged, built for a fluid, edgeless world. When they die, scavengers and waves erase them, giants, but fragile giants. The discovery opened a new window into the deep ocean, studying the squid maps, the web of life in extremes. Its existence proves there's enough deep food to support a huge predator. Giant eyes, specialized tentacles, jet propulsion, solutions to darkness and pressure. The deep regulates climate, circulates nutrients and hosts vast biodiversity. The squid becomes its ambassador. The Kraken squid arc shows how science builds, stories, evidence, technology, each step upon the last. Discovery births better questions, mating in darkness, lifespan, abundance. We move from fear to curiosity and respect. Even with proof, the Kraken myth endures, and perhaps it should. It remains a shorthand for nature's awesome, untamable power. The monster reflects the part of us humbled by a bigger world. Old stories can hide kernels of truth. Sailors interpreted a real phenomenon through their time. We should listen to historical and indigenous knowledge with open minds. Storytelling uses emotion and metaphor. Science uses evidence and logic. Imagination points to a mystery. Science methodically solves it. The result is richer, the thrill of myth with the wonder of the real. In the end, the Kraken is a single, spectacular animal, and a reminder of how little we know. Most of our ocean remains unexplored, The last true wilderness. Creatures of mythic scale can exist, hidden just out of reach. What else is down there? For each species we know, dozens, perhaps hundreds, remain unseen. A universe of possibilities, where surface rules don't apply. Fear can become discovery when met with courage and curiosity. The Kraken was born of fear, the giant squid revealed by curiosity. The ocean keeps its secrets, waiting for patient explorers, new cameras and minds willing to listen.